Protests are planned across Hong Kong tonight, even as the city prepares to usher in the new year. Demonstrators are staging rallies to urge people not to give up on the anti-government movement in 2020.
And police have warned that they will step in if trouble flares. Earlier today, authorities discovered dangerous materials that can be used to make around 100 petrol bombs. Our correspondent, Leong Wai Kit, he's standing by at Lang Kwai Fang, where New Year's festivities are set to be held. So, Wai Kit, we know it's just hours to go before 2019. Give us a sense, what's the mood like where you are? I mean, I'm sure police are expecting some sort of chaos.
Well, Glenda, you're right. Police are expecting some sort of chaos, not just here in Lan Kwai Fong, but across Hong Kong as a whole. And that's why they have troops all over the city to ensure that law and order issues are taken care of. In Lan Kwai Fong, where I'm at, this is a very popular haunt for not just locals but also tourists to count down to the new year. This part of the road, as with other parts of Lan Kwai Fong, have been closed since 2 p.m. Singapore-Hong Kong time, and understandably there is a strong presence of police officers as well as private security guards. But elsewhere, the mood in Hong Kong is quite tense. Some 30 minutes drive from where I am in Tsim Sha Tsui, a human chain has started to form, and police are also actively checking on shoppers in Harbour City, a shopping mall where my team and I were at during Christmas Eve. That was where conflicts and clashes have broken out. The police now are checking actively on these shoppers, understandably because they want to prevent clashes from escalating. Right now, they are now just checking on shoppers, but nearby in the Prince Edward MTR station, police have already started making arrests. Now, traditionally, Prince Edward MTR station, which is just beside the Mong Kok police station, is not a place where people would gather for a countdown, but today is December 31st, and that's exactly 4 months since an August 31st enforcement operations took place where people believed that police had killed people during those operations. Of course, the police and the authorities have come out firmly and repetitively to say that those are just rumors. So elsewhere across Hong Kong, the mood is still quite tentative.
Wai Kit, as 2019 comes to a close, a more recent rallying call from the protesters has been this Persist in 2020 slogan. How does it look for Hong Kong the new year, given that protesters seem determined to take their movement forward?
That's right, Dawn. Just because the calendar has turned its page into 2020, there is very little indication that the protest movement is going to die down. But what I can tell you to expect in 2020 is that there is what I see as a softer approach from the authorities. Now, just now, China President Xi Jinping, in his annual New Year's Eve address, talked about Hong Kong. Now, he said that Hong Kong, without stability, without harmony, is going to be very difficult for people to live and work peacefully and enjoyably, and therefore he wishes Hong Kong prosperity and stability. Now, his message comes just after Chief Executive Carrie Lam released what some observers might say is a PR video on Facebook page, and that sums up the 7 months of protests in 2019. Now, what stood out for me and some observers is that the video did not feature any violent footage of petrol bombs or tear gas being exchanged. What was in place of those footage is an eagle flying freely in the Hong Kong city skyline, visuals of blossoming flowers, and visuals of staff cleaning up after violence and vandalism in Hong Kong. And in that video, Mrs. Carrie Lam had once again reiterated that she will humbly listen to Hong Kong citizens' demands and also try to bring Hong Kong out of this political turmoil. So these two events tell me and tell observers that the authorities are aware that 2020 will still be a challenging year in terms of the anti-government protests, but they seem to be now speaking directly to the average peaceful Hong Kong citizen for them to say no to violence in the year forward.
All right, Wai Kit, thank you very much for that update. You've been working very hard over there. I hope that you get a chance to celebrate this evening. Happy New Year to you.